Kevin, hey, congratulations for Dangerous.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really excited about it. I really enjoyed watching it and enjoyed making it. So I hope everybody feels the same way that I do.
I certainly do. I love these type of action films, but this is more of a indie action film, and I always known you for like all these big projects and likable characters. But what's the easy question is why what attracted you to it, like an indie action project like this?
Psychology, you know, I've become really kind of uh, obsessed with learning about the mind and information highways that are created by the world that we process every day through our central nervous system, and I'm so incredibly drawn to characters that see the world differently than me. So this guy isn't the most empathetic fella, and I am probably described by friends and family as an empath. So it makes it really interesting. The grass is always greener on the other side, even if it's just for me to get to go play over there and then be like, oh, thank God I don't live there, and then I can come back home. So from the first page reading about Dylan Forrester, I was like, what a cool take. To try to see like a psychopathic person who's part of the 3% of people who can't feel empathy, is psychopathic, sociopathic people who don't feel fear. What an interesting take, what kind of monster does that create? And how do you rehabilitate that? Can you rehabilitate that? I mean, so it just had me right from the start.
Now, was it easy to get into a character like that? Because you don't play a lot of villains, but obviously this is probably fun for you. But is it easy to get in that headspace and then turn it off when you go home?
Yeah, now that I'm older, yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't know how to turn it off, and I would take it to the street, and it was much harder for me to separate from it. But through the process of just living in this world an extra 25, 30 years now, from when I started, I when you start having kids, you don't want to bring that kind of stuff home. So I learned and got very comfortable with being able to separate. Once I could separate, then I can go as far as I want to, because I know I can always come back. So it's kind of like now I have an even more comfortable kind of coat that I put on, because I know I could always take it off and go back to being me, and just go back to being happy me.
I do have to admit, because any role you have has such a commanding presence. Why don't you take more villainous roles?
Well, it's funny you say that, because like right now, I have I shot Dangerous, and then for a long time I didn't want to play bad guy. I would play them, but it was that thing that I just told you about. I just didn't want to be in that headspace. And now I've kind of turned a corner where I'm like, dude, you've always loved the bastards, the a-holes in plays and in Shakespeare, in the Bard. Like I always wanted to play Edmund, Petruchio, Iago. I didn't have any interest at all in Hamlet or Romeo or like nothing. I was just like, oh God. And so now I'm just kind of like, oh, how fun, how delicious, to just get lost in this different way of thinking and just play.
That is terrific. Now, I always tell my friends, like, Scott Eastwood is like on that verge of being in like a leading action hero in a blockbuster. How was it like working with Scott Eastwood on a project like this?
I didn't know what to expect from Scott at first. I hadn't met him before. As soon as I met him, I liked him. He's a really good guy. He treats everybody with respect. Um, he always knows his lines. He's always kind to everyone. But the thing that I love the most about him, being the type of actor that I am, I love that he did the work. Like he worked with a psychologist for a long time, trying to figure out how someone who suffers from not being able to feel empathy, how someone who can't feel fear, how they would filter their experience in the world, and it really comes across. I think he did a wonderful job, and I agree with you. I think, I mean, he's already a big star. I mean, his star is just going to keep rising.
That is true. That is true. When you were on production, I know there's always movie magic. Was this actually on an island that you guys were at? I mean, I can't tell.
Did it look like we were on an island?
I almost thought you guys were on an island, but
yeah. I can't believe how they approached this. We actually weren't. We were in the Okanagan, British Columbia. There are no islands there. There's no ocean. So the way that they went about it, like when I first saw it, I was like, David Hackle, the director, would show me all these, these illustrations, and I was like, wow, that's really good. How are you gonna do that? I was like, how are you gonna do it? It's not my job to worry about how they're gonna do it. They just did it. There's so many talented people came in and made that happen. It just, I think it just looks stunning. It looks like, a place that you don't want to be caught on in a dogfight between me and Scott Eastwood.
How was that dogfight action sequence between you and Scott Eastwood? That looked like a lot of fun for you, but of course, stuntman and body doubles, right?
You know what? Scott and I are both very, very physical, and we really worked hard on the fights. And big kudos to the guys who were stunting for us, who took like I didn't. Well, no, I can't say that because I'm gonna give it. But I did. We did most. We did a very big percentage of all of that because we both really cared to, and we went for it, but we trusted each other, and that's a great. And you have a couple of actors that just want to go all the way with it, but then you work to a point where you can trust each other, and it was a wonderful thing. It was really fun. The fights are always fun. I always love doing the physical stuff. It's just fantastic. Just unleash it.
That is great. Well, before I let you go, I know it's movie magic. What did the submarine actually look like in the film, or is that all not there?
It was quite spectacular. Like there was a very strong practical element there. Just like David had shown me the drawings when we first were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to look great." But then when you see the film, when it's all painted in by brilliant artists that work on the film, it's pretty stunning. It looks like a real spot that exists, and that's the amazing part about being a part of this process is being there. I've done a lot of films that have a lot of CG and stuff, but man, it's so cool to see how that art is just progressing the way that it is. So cool.
It is cool. It is cool. That's why I love movies. That's why you love movies. That's why we all love movies.
I love it. I'm grateful every day on set. I get to make movies and TV shows and just create a space for people to go and just chill out and get a different perspective on hopefully many different stories. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure.
Well, it's terrific speaking to you, Kevin. Hey, thank you very much for talking to us about Dangerous. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Gabe. Thank you, man.